My friends at Easy Cater are workplace catering pros, helping you find food for everything from daily employee meals to staff meetings and special events. Visit easycater.com/leaderassistant to find out more.
Hi, I'm Irina Totok, and today's leadership quote is from Vince Lombardi. Leaders aren't born, they are made, and they are made just like anything else, through hard work.
The Leader Assistant podcast exists to encourage and challenge assistants to become confident, game-changing leader assistants.
The Leader Assistant podcast is exclusively brought to you by Goody, which provides effortless gifting for all occasions. If you're tired of sending tacky, impersonal business gifts, then you should definitely check out Goody. My friends at Goody offer a collection of hundreds of curated brands like Levain Bakery, Therabody, Milk Bar, and Ember mugs. With Goody, if your recipient doesn't like your gift, they can swap it out for one they do like. You can find perfect gifts for any occasion, whether it's work anniversaries, birthdays, new hire onboarding, or company swag. It's free to start gifting, and you get a $20 credit when you sign up. Also, be sure to mention the Leader Assistant podcast when signing up, and Goody will add an extra $10 credit to your account. So go to leaderassistant.com/goody to disrupt the inefficiencies in your team's gifting strategy. Again, that's leaderassistant.com/goody. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Leader Assistant Podcast. It's episode 203, and you can check out the show notes at leaderassistant.com/203. It's your host, Jeremy Burrows. Today, I'm very, very thrilled to speak with Irina Totok, and she is an executive assistant. Been an executive assistant for a while, but we're going to get into her story. Irina, thanks for being on the show. How's it going?
Hi, thanks for having me here.
And where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Moldova. I was born there, but in my childhood, my parents decided to move to Russia. So I grew up in Moscow, and I had been living there for 12 years, but I recently relocated to the US.
Awesome. What part of the US?
Now I live in New York City, and I will stay here because early last year I got married, and my husband is from Moldova too, but he has another story. In his childhood, his parents decided to move to the US, and so he grew up in New York City.
Awesome. Well, congrats on recently getting married. And do you guys have any hobbies or favorite activities or dogs or cats?
I don't have any pets or children, but I play squash. So if anybody from listeners is from New York and is playing squash, I'll gladly keep your company. And also I enjoy exploring new travel destinations, even in Google Maps or on YouTube.
Nice. Well, thanks again for being on the show. Let's jump in. How did you end up becoming an assistant?
Yes, I think it's a great story. When I was a first-year student, we met with my husband in Moldova. We lived in different countries, and as students, we were out of money. So we had to find them for our meetings. And I started working as an evening administrative assistant at one company. It was a co-working space and conference hall for different IT events. And also, I was a leader of the class at my university, did all the student stuff. In the evening, I worked. At night, I did my homework. On weekends, I worked again. And after my first year, I was really tired of different activities, people, and decided to quit the job. Then the second year started. I attended my university classes, and it was so boring to have only university in my life. And I really missed my previous year and started searching for another job. I had some interviews for different companies and chose an investment one. And in the beginning, I worked as an evening administrative assistant, supporting the whole back office, but only in the evening. And after 5 months, the executive assistants of 3 managing partners quit and left the company 1 week later. So the position opened up and the hiring department started searching for a new one. And during this time, I suggested to the executives help with some urgent tasks, and they made me an interim EA. Then I realized that it was a great opportunity. I did my best to make everything perfect. And of course, I made some mistakes because I didn't have experience, but I succeeded in hiding them and fixing before they were even noticed. And they were surprised by my abilities and very grateful for all suggestions regarding their trips, meetings, and so on. And at that moment, I realized that I'd like to become an executive assistant because before this company, I didn't even know about this position. And I always was a person who helped, who liked challenges, who didn't like routine and was keen on traveling. Even at my university, I chose management, international management, because I didn't want to have one specialization. I wanted to study languages and everything. And the major like international management covered all my needs, I think. So at the moment when I faced this job title, I was like, wow, this job is a perfect match for me. And I thought about how to tell my executive that I wanted this job, but I didn't have any relevant experience, especially with the C-level suite. I was young. I didn't have a degree. I had only a strong desire and eagerness to study. And here's the story. I thought how to tell them that I want them to consider me as a candidate for this position. And I spoke with the previous EA and were thinking about the best way to start a conversation. And one day, my executive was on his way home. I told him like, goodbye, have a nice evening. And he stopped and unexpectedly asked me, would you be able to work full time? I was really shocked, and I told something like, maybe I should think about it. And in 3 days, I think we had some conversations with other managing partners. And despite all this fact that I didn't have an experience, I was 20, I didn't know a lot of things and how the business works. But I convinced them to give me a chance, and we started our probation period. And I think that at that moment, I jumped over my head because I jumped straight to the top of the company, and I was so excited, but I did it. And it was 4 years ago, and we worked for 4 years together. And of course, I had some good and bad days, but now I think that I'm a professional assistant because of this experience. They trusted me more than they had trusted to all other assistants before, because all the time I put them in the first place.
Wow, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing it. So when you did start going full-time and officially had the title and kind of, like you said, got bumped to the top of the organization, what was maybe the biggest challenge during the first 6 months or a year of that new official professional role?
Yes, it was really difficult for me, but I tried to hide everything that I didn't know. And we decided that first 3 months, I could ask every question I want. And it was better to ask the question than to make a mistake. So I asked everything, almost everything. And I wrote down everything. I tried to remember everything. And I think that the main challenge was to remember all the information you just got.
Yeah. Yeah. Asking a lot of questions early on is definitely a good practice. So that's awesome that you jumped in and did that. So tell us a little bit about the travel itineraries. So I'm assuming you've handled very heavy travel itineraries and international travel, correct?
Yes, yes. It's true. I have a great experience. And because I had three executives, I prepared trips for all of them and their families. And I got more experience than the assistant with one executive because, for example, my main executive, he travels every 2 months, I think. It can be business trips or personal trips, everything. And I can definitely say that Russia isn't the country where you can travel. It has a lot of different and very beautiful places like Baikal, the biggest lake with the fresh water, like Kamchatka, the place with volcanoes and geysers, um, Altai Mountains, Sochi, and so on and so on. But all these places they have no more than 10 well-serviced five-star hotels. And if they are there, they are so overpriced that it costs more to go there than to the European countries. But in European countries, you will get better service, better infrastructure, and so on. So executives from Russia, they travel to different destinations all over the world. And in my resume, you can find such countries like Kenya, Argentina, Mexico, many European countries, even Antarctica, and so on.
So that's a lot of travel to manage. Did you have a travel agency or a similar type of resource that you would call and it would help you, figure out things, or did you pretty much do it all through Google and all on your own?
Most of things I did on my own. We have concierge with whom we work closely, and they can give me some advice. But they don't know my executives as good as I know. Mm-hmm. So I know all their preferences. I know what they really like, what they really want this time. And I try to prepare everything by my own, using Google, using different reviews, different blogs in the internet, different magazines and articles, and I succeeded in it.
Yeah. That's great. So how did you organize all that? Did you keep their itinerary all on their calendar? Did you print it out? Did you have maybe a software that you use or a format that you like to keep, or was each executive different?
Before every trip, we have a lot of different preparations from choosing hotels and so on. And I make a presentation for every trip. For example, I suggest them 3 or 5 hotels in their destinations, and I try to put them in one PDF with the same photos and the same information about every hotel, and try to highlight the things that they like in different places. And I use only Excel to make an itinerary. Of course, I add everything to the calendar because if something isn't in the calendar, it's not in their life. Yes, and also my executives, they really like to change everything in the last moment. And so I always have like plan B and plan C. And I'm always online and ready to change their flights, their hotels, and so on.
Awesome. So what was maybe one of the craziest things that's happened, whether it's an airport shut down or a snowstorm delayed a flight for 2 days, or they got to the hotel or the Airbnb and it was already booked, or what's one of maybe your favorite kind of crazy challenges of a travel trip that you booked that you had to scramble and figure out?
To tell the truth, we didn't have anything during the trip because everything was really great all the times. But I have one story. One day, my executive, he came to the office and he was like, I decided to go to Antarctica for New Year holidays. Let's find all destinations from which we can reach there. I'd like to reach the South Pole. And what's more, I would like to know every country from which I can go there. I was so excited, and I really liked this, and I explored everything. I explored the Argentina and all the places from here, Chile, even South Africa. You can reach the Antarctica even from Australia or New Zealand, and I spent like 2 evenings at home, and I was doing it even at night, and I made a presentation. I pre-booked rooms on different ships. I spoke with different managers from there and asked them for real photos and real videos from the ship, because in the internet I could find only like renders. They weren't real, and I needed a real one just to know how it is. And I gave everything to him. I answered all his questions. I told him which animals they will meet there. And he decided to take 1 day to make a decision. And I was like, okay, not a problem. I'm here. If you have any questions, you can write me. And the next day he came to the office and he was like, Antarctica is corny. It's corny, and a lot of people were there. I don't want to go there. I want to reach the North Pole. And I was like, okay, North Pole. Okay, but it's the opposite side of the planet. And he was like, yes, I like the North Pole. Look something there. And the North Pole is easier than the South Pole because you have the only way how you can reach it, and it's like nuclear icebreaker, and you will have a very, very small room, and this room will be old-fashioned, small, with an old furniture and so on, and you will pay $50,000 for this trip in this room. And I told him all this information. I showed him the photos of this room, and he was like, North Pole is an unusual place, but I don't want to go there. Thank you, next time. And I spent almost 1 week doing the things that weren't appropriate in the end. So he decided to stay at home here in Moscow and spend all his New Year holidays here.
Wow.
And it's my work.
Wow. Well, now you know, though, if you want to go to the North Pole or if you want to go to Antarctica, yes. You have all the research for yourself now. So
yes. And I need only to refresh my knowledge of this information. And it's not the only story like this. Antarctica isn't the only country, no, the only region on this list, because it's a usual story when we prepared all the itinerary, when I pre-booked all the hotels. But at the last time when we need only to make a payment, it's like, I think that I shouldn't go there.
Wow.
And okay.
Yeah, that's fun. I've definitely had experiences like that in my career as an assistant, where it's like, hey, do this research, get all the stuff together. And then it's like, we changed our mind. We're not going to do that project, or we're not going to go on that trip. So props to you for sticking with it and having a good attitude about it.
Yes, but I think that he knows that I did this work, and he wouldn't ask me for for other achievements. So,
yeah.
But I really like it, and I enjoy planning. I enjoy exploring, and all the times that I did it. Now I think that I was there. I almost was there because I know everything there. I I saw everything there. I spoke with the people there. So I shouldn't go there because I already did.
Nice, nice. Well, Irina, what's one thing that you would want the assistants of the world who are listening to remember out of our conversation today? Like maybe a quick tidbit, maybe a quick travel tip for booking travel, maybe just an inspirational general, like, hey, this is something that helps me on crazy days and challenging days. What's one thing you want to say to the assistants of the world?
I think that you should always follow the news on the region where your executive goes, and you should always have a plan B and a plan C, of course, and you should know everything about the place where he is going to go. And
yeah.
I think that's important. You should be prepared for everything, even for the hurricane.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one other, sounds like you enjoy the travel side of things. What's one of your other favorite areas for, in your role as an assistant? Maybe it's calendar management, project management, emails. What's maybe one other area that you really enjoy kind of getting your hands dirty and figuring it out?
I think that I really like when they come to me and they say something like, it's almost impossible to find this thing because we tried to do it for 1 year. Just try. I'm not sure that you will succeed, but try. And when you find it like in 5 days, it can be a rare book. It also can be, for example, all the magazines for 10 years of one magazine, and something like this. And I really like when everything goes right, and when I succeed in the things that they think are impossible.
Yeah, I love it. We you get to make them even just question whenever the next time they say, "Oh, there's no way that this can happen," or "There's no way we can find this." It's like, wait, no, actually, Irina figured it out last time. Let's see if she can figure it out again. So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing a little bit about your story. I'm excited to stay in touch and hear how your career progresses from here. What's maybe if you're open to it, is there a way or a channel, maybe it's LinkedIn or whatever, where people can reach out and say hi and connect, especially those in the New York area?
Yes, I think that the LinkedIn is the only way you can reach me because I don't have other blogs. And now I try to develop it. So I'm open to new connections because here it's blocked and we don't use it at all. So now I have to start from scratch. And if you'd like to add me, I'll do it with a pleasure.
Awesome, Irina. Thank you so much. I'll put the link to your LinkedIn profile in the show notes at leaderassistant.com/203. For those listening, best of luck to you. And hopefully we can connect at an assistant event in the US sometime. And we appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hope we'll meet each other in person soon.
please review on Apple Podcasts. GoBulls.com